Little shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
What is going on, beautiful people? Welcome back to another amazing and impactful episode of the True Health Ever podcast, where we try to live the best life through the lens of holistic health. I'm your host, Devon Travell, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game, and for the first time, I have with me the 2-year married, the cornrow braids popping, the about to go on a trip and don't even know where you're going, queen herself. Please introduce yourself.
I was like, for the first time, what's new? Yeah, but all of these combinations, yes, this is the first time.
Gotta switch it up.
What's up, everybody? My name is Sinclair, aka the Health Nerd, and excited to go. We leave for our trip tomorrow. Excited. Don't know where we're going. Nervous, excited, anxious.
Oh, you telling? Look, it's my first trip planning by myself. Like, I feel like I'm really adulting now. Over here planning stuff, itinerary. Speaking of which, I'm supposed to check into our flight. Oh, I'm gonna do that in a second. Look at me, already messing up. But the anxiety, right?
It'll be fun regardless.
It is gonna be fun regardless, and we got our seats. So I mean, the checking in is just a moot point at this point. Right. But a few things. One, shout out to the healthy snacks we got going. All right, so you got your unsalted raw cashews.
They're not raw, but they are not maybe they are raw. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
But. Okay. And then I got, our patented, just kidding, we do not own the patent to this, but our patented cinnamon chia pudding with a little bit of protein, some fresh apples on it, trying to do our thing. Feel free to put your hands into my food, queen, at any point in time. But healthy food is one way. Yes, that's what the ring says. Healthy food is definitely one way that you can, empower your body, empower your life, and invest in yourself and invest in your health. Yep. That is the topic for today. Like maybe 20 episodes back, we had motivational speaker Josiah Greer. He came on here, dropped some knowledge, some gems, told a lot of his personal story on like just what got him into the road of motivation and education, period. But that was only part 2. And I feel like we didn't even get to like really dive into like what he's passionate about. We didn't really get to dive into like a real word from him because we were busy learning about, his story, his background. All right. So we brought him back for a part 2, y'all. All right. So in today's episode, we're going to bring Josiah back, and he's really going to hammer down and focus in on what does investing in you look like.
Let's do it.
You ready, Queen?
I'm ready.
Oh, no. All right. Well, before she keeps on singing, let's get into the episode. All right, we're out. Oh, come on. We got the new intro. Hold on.
Fire.
You know what I'm saying? And here comes Brother Greer. What's going on?
Hey, that was crazy dope. That intro, I ain't gonna I was like, I'm jamming. I love it.
Listen, we had to get better. I know the last time you were on here, we were on Zoom, doing our thing on Zoom, but now we're on StreamYard. We got the new intro. We got some animations going. We've been investing in us, but we're here for your word. All right. So first off, how you been, King? What's been going on since the last time we chopped it up?
Man, a lot. I mean, it's just life right now, trying to figure out, what's happening with California in regards to COVID. I mean, the cases are going crazy. So trying to figure things out. I mean, I got into a relationship, you know what I mean?
Hey.
Well, let me say I announced it. You know what I'm saying? That's real essentially what it's been. Because, you got to get through that stage first and be like, we serious? Are we serious? You feel me? But so, yeah, it's just been a lot, man. I had my 31st birthday the other day. So,
Happy birthday.
Yeah, man, life is going. Thank you. I appreciate it. Just living life, man. And just thankful to, to be alive and to get an opportunity to link with y'all again. It's always beautiful,
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now I don't know exactly the rhythm that you want to go, but the shirt that you have on says "Believe in Yourself." Can you talk about, for you, is there a difference between believing in yourself and investing in yourself? Like what is that parallel? What is that difference?
I think, believing in yourself means, you actually accept the fact that there's potential there. You know what I'm saying? That there is a potential to grow, potential to do something, that better than what you're doing now. I feel like investing in yourself is the action that you take towards achieving, what I'm saying, that belief, what I mean, towards making that dream become a reality. So for me, I think investing is that action part. But they're both very important. Without believing, there's no point in investing. You're not gonna feel confident in your investment. So they're both absolutely key.
I feel like belief is the precursor.
There you go.
The prerequisite for
investing.
So yeah, otherwise you're gonna be like, why do I need to invest in myself if I don't believe that the investing is going to pay off?
Gotcha. So the belief is the motivation.
It's like the mindset, and then, like he said, the investing is the action.
Gotcha. Love it. Well, shout out to Markel, shout out to Rare X for making the swag, making the stitches for all of us to believe in. Much love. But again, I want to hand it over to Josiah so we can get into the topic at hand, talking about investing in ourselves, investing in our future. What you got for us, King?
Yeah, I think the reason I think this topic is important is because a lot of people are just in the believe portion of it. You know what I mean? A lot of people are just like, dream big, especially if you talk about motivational speakers. We always push the idea of dreaming, which is very important. I think children are the best dreamers because they haven't been, had those walls, right? Those limitations of life that, that we as adults have due to, our experiences. And so, the dreaming part is very important, but without that action, without applying, what I mean, what you've learned or what you have and taking those baby steps, even if it's a crawl, however you get forward, you have to create an investment for yourself. And a lot of times we just push the investment in the actions, right? And just what you physically can do. But what about the actual monetary investment as well too? Then like I don't know if StreamYard, if you guys have to pay for StreamYard, but I mean you realize if you did, you're like, hey, listen, Zoom is cool, but StreamYard is going to help us take our thing to the next level. So we're going to have to make an investment and pay to have StreamYard to make it better, and so we can't just live on the idea that you can think yourself into greatness. It's like thinking is the beginning part. And then eventually when you put down you start laying down the hammer and putting down the foundation, that's where, that investment part comes into handy. And, one of my, mentors, Kevin Bracey, who's a motivational speaker as well. He tells me he took 16 years of investing and he's been speaking for 25 years, 16 years of investing and 9 years of reaping, you know what I mean? 9 years of reaping the benefits of what you invested in, but it's going to take some time. It's nothing's going to happen instantaneously, and if you do, that's like, where lottery people come in. That's quick, but most lottery people go broke because they didn't take the process to get that money. They just got it instantaneously. So, but I'm saying investing in yourself is the best key, and it's the best person. If you can't invest in yourself, then why should anybody else invest in you? You know what I'm saying? So start with yourself, man.
Go ahead, Queen. I got a lot of just follow-up nuggets.
Right, multiple bars have been said already.
Every time with you, Josiah. God, goodness.
Like the first one that I was like, ooh, was like, you can't think yourself into greatness. I was like, ooh, ooh, that's good. Yes. Right? You have to put that action behind it, because if it just stays up here, then you're no different than another person who may have the same thought. And we've talked about that too in I think at the manifesting podcast, where multiple people can have the same idea. Right. It's all about who's going to take the action to make it happen. That's what sets you apart from others, and what makes you different is that you take the action. Right,
and that's also like everyone's execution on a dream can look different, right? Like you can have this. I want to make this movie. I want to write this book. I want to start a podcast about health. All of those things will look completely different depending on the unique person who's putting in the action. So I love that. So first thing, that was one of mine. But first thing, the way that we use StreamYard, it's free. That's why the logo is still in the corner. It says powered by StreamYard. we ain't paying for it. But we will eventually start actually paying for StreamYard. I just wanted to make sure that was clear to our people watching.
It's all good.
Number two, something else you said, I think it was on the story of King Brazy, was he put in work for 16 years, right? Invested 16 years. Think of that as like your IRA. Think of that as your Roth IRA, your 401k. You're investing money for years, and then you reap the benefits later on, right? So you said he has 9 years of reaping. In mortgages and student loans and any type of like big financial investment, there's I'm probably gonna say the word wrong, Cream. What's the word? Amortization. Amortization.
I think.
Yes, that's the word.
Okay.
I don't know if it's pronounced the correct way, but there's amortization to where you're paying a bulk of the interest up front, right? You're investing and the bank wants to get their money up front, and then later on you start paying principal. Or it can be reversed in compound interest. You start getting small returns for the first 10, 15 years, but then 20 years later, all of a sudden there's an exponential growth in the returns that you get. And I think financially, we understand that. I think financially, we're like, oh yeah, obviously over time, after I put in this amount of money, I'm gonna get an exponential return. But I think when it comes to small things that we do for ourselves, for our health, for our dreams, we want one action to give us one exponential result as soon as possible. Right. We're not thinking, I'm gonna put in 15 years of work and then I'm gonna explode. We're like, no, I'm gonna put in 15 minutes.
Right.
And then something's gonna pop off from this 15 minutes. So I know you made a particular promise or dedication to Kevin Bracy, right? After hearing his journey, and you made a promise to him. Can you talk about that promise that you made to him and any type of return you've been able to get in the short term, but really the return you hope to get maybe after you do this dedication or commitment?
Yeah, I told when I met KB a couple of years back, he told me his story, and he just kind of said it took 14 years of him grinding before he started to see some sort of benefits from it, and so for me, I obviously and before I talked about the Wise Word Wednesdays that we do and the dedication to it. So for me, I told him, I said, that means I have to stay dedicated at least 14 years before I can give up, because if I know that it took him 14 years, then for me, out of respect for the work that he put in and respect for, because, I respect the work that he put in for the craft of speaking. You know what I mean? And going into and speaking to other people and helping, motivate and encourage people out of respect for what he did, then I can at least put in that much effort before I say, all right, this isn't for me. And who knows, after 14 years of doing it, I might feel like I'm just getting started. You know what I'm saying? Because, we've been doing Wise Word Wednesdays since 2017. Here it is 2021, and I still feel like I'm just getting started. I still feel like I'm just now shifting what Wise Word Wednesdays look like, and so for me now, it's like, how can I take it to the next level? It's like, I'm just getting my feet off the ground. So before I do anything, as far as saying I give up, I quit and it's over, I need to dedicate those 14 years out of respect for what he did. And I know people like E.T. did 20 years, in the game before they were able to, reap the benefits, or before he was able to reap, the benefits that I plan on, on reaping in the future. So, my goal is to be a billionaire. And I know that it's going to take a while to do it. I think Jay-Z's came out with his first album at 26 years old. And he became a billionaire at like 50 something, 51. So, I got some time, again, this is a long-term investment. I'm not trying to become, a billionaire next week. I'm willing to take the time, like when you go to the gym, your first day, you may not bench 225. You may only start off with the 45-pound bar, but if you keep doing it, then maybe you add on 10s the next month, and then you add on some 25s the next month, and so on and so forth. And in a couple of months, you up to 225 and you didn't realize it. So I'm willing to put in that kind of work.
I love it. I need to go back to the gym. I don't know what I'm benching these days.
I ain't nowhere near 225. I'll tell you that. Which is why I used it.
But yeah, I love the fact that you're about to dedicate 14 years with no real expectations.
Right.
Right. Like I'm gonna put in this work because I love doing it. I love the Wide Word Wednesdays, love putting the positive energy. I'm gonna put in 14 years. I'm just gonna see what happens. So for anyone who's listening, who's watching, figure out what are you willing to dedicate some years to, just for the love, just for the passion, like the habit of doing Wide Words Wednesdays, the habit of doing Black Study Snacks, the habit of recording a podcast every week for 10 years. Like, dedicate your life to something, and then just see what happens, right? See what fruit comes from those seeds. Queen, anything you want to sprinkle on that before he dives into some of the action that he's been taking?
No, I had a couple of thoughts that were when you were talking about when it comes to finance. I think we understand like the whole like compound interest or amortization type thing, where like if you invest over time, the money grows and you reap the benefit later on. I feel like people understand that. But to your point, when it comes to investing, and I feel like a reason why people, I think, understand that a little bit more, are a little bit more willing to do that, because it doesn't require work, physical work. Okay, hear what I'm saying. Hear me out. So right, my 401k. Yes, I did set up the percentage. After that, I don't really do much, right? It comes out of my, at least for this example, right? It comes out of my check.
You can do it on autopilot.
Yes, on autopilot. Okay. I don't see it. So it's very easy to just watch the money grow. Okay. Whereas for something like your health, there's really no autopilot for that. You have to put in work. What autopilot is there? I mean, you have to eat every day. You have to exercise. Like, that's work. I mean, and obviously you can find a way to make it enjoyable so it doesn't seem like work. But I feel like at first, making that first step, it might seem like you have to put in like effort, right? You have to put that effort there. And I feel like that is what deters a lot of people from, I think, making that investment like on the health side. For example, I see you have a differing.
Yeah, so I agree with you and Brother Greer, Josiah. First of all, what preferred name? Motivational speaker Josiah, King Greer, Mr. Invest Believe. What do I call you, sir?
Honestly, man, I'm a man of 1,000 names, man. It's whatever you feel comfortable with. You know what I'm saying? Josiah works fine for me, man.
For sure. But yeah, if you have a thought on this, feel free. But for me, I agree with you in the sense that it does take some type of active commitment, right? For an investment and for most finances, you can click a few buttons and it's on autopilot. But if you lose a job, if you get a different job, you have to go in and make some active decisions to it. So there is still a sense of activity. For me, I think if you can set up your habits to where, all right, boom, every Wednesday, like clockwork, I'm doing a Wide Word Wednesday. It's no thought about it. This is what I'm doing. I don't have a choice. If every morning I'm taking a walk around the block, that's just my habit. I don't have a choice. This is what I do. You're going to see those compound habits over 10, 15 years. I see your point in that, like, yes, it's still an active commitment. Like, every day I need to make that decision. But I think there's unconscious decisions that we make every single day that are a detriment to our health. So I think it's possible to start making unconscious healthy decisions, just based on the habits that we do. Like the fact that this is our snack. When was the last time we had potato chips for a snack?
This is lunch.
Okay, even better. This is our lunch. When was the last time we had potato chips for a snack or for lunch?
Yeah.
Right, and that's because we don't buy potato chips, so they're not in the house, so we never eat them. So that's a habit that we've now kind of reinforced without even really thinking about it.
Right.
So yeah, that's just my take. But brother FYB, what you think?
I mean, I actually agree with both of y'all. So
gosh, dang it, come on, man! I need a dub over here.
Both made some very, very valid points. I think that it's just all about perception at the end of the day. Whether whichever one you choose to go with, at the end of the day, it's still making doing actions towards a specific goal. Whether it's as tiny as setting a 401k up, or as something as having a specific diet. At the end of the day, it's working for you to be better.
Love it. All right, that was a very political correct answer. We all know I was right. It's all, I'm just kidding.
Moving on.
Right, let me not get in trouble before I go on
Mhm.
vacation.
Right.
Listen,
Trying
Greer.
to help you. I'm trying to. And
Follow the lead. You do it.
Big facts. Oh, but shifting gears over a little bit. So we've talked a little bit about belief and about that long-term dedication. But can you now talk about turning investing into action? Right? How do you turn that mindset of investing in myself into action that you can actually do, every day, every week, every month, every year, whatever that looks like. And you can, either go big and broad and kind of talk to the audience at large, or you can, take a deep dive into the action that you've chosen to take for your $1 billion vision that's going to happen.
Yeah, I think that, I'll just kind of see if I can do it like super broad. A lot of people, when they talk about investing, right, and they think of the win, right, the instant win. So let's use, just because we talked about stocks, in 401ks and things like that, Dogecoin or Dogcoin, right? There were a lot of people who made a lot of money off of Dogcoin. The people who made the most money were people who were already investing in the stock markets way before that. But there are a few people who just, specifically got in to mess with Dogcoin and get out. But realize that, the people who really won big were already putting money in other stocks as well, too. You know what I'm saying? Whereas a lot of people, they think if I just invest in this one thing right now, then if I'd have known that the Bucks would have won in 6 games, I'd have put $1 million on the Bucks and would have got that money back, got that return. But the people who really make money off of gambling and basketball games don't just gamble on one time. It's not like they just won one time and kept it pushing and now they were done. Like they had a lifestyle of investing in gambling, in sports betting, and over time they've seen some losses, but they've seen some returns. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing in regards to what your dreams are. You can't just say this is the one only way that I'm going to invest the one time and I'm just gonna hit the lotto. If I'm a rapper, I'm just gonna put out one song, it's gonna be a hit, and everybody's just gonna love it, and then I'm gonna get signed and it's over. No, there are they said Prince has hundreds of songs, in his storage, you know what I'm saying, that he was working on that he never released. To make one album, an artist may record 50 different songs to get to 13 great songs for an album. So it's the same thing when you're talking about your dreams or whatever your goal is. If your goal is to be, a billionaire, you have to invest, hundreds of thousands of dollars in variety of different ways to hopefully get to $1 billion. It's not like Jay-Z said, all right, I'm just going to rap and I'm going to sell all my albums worth $1 billion. It didn't work that way. He had to do Ace of Spades. He had to do Tidal. He had to work with, Sprint and and all these different companies that he
had to marry Beyonce.
He had to marry Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? Like so it's not just one way that you're going to take. You have to invest in a variety of different ways. So whether that means your physical health, whether that means your mental health as well too, talk about your finances. That you have to get a financial investor, to talk about what's the best way to invest financially in the stock market or whatever. And you want to get into homes, okay, purchase property. Maybe you should talk to a mortgage lender and get there's a variety of different ways to accomplish your goal, and you have to be willing to invest in all of them, not just one. Don't put all your eggs in one basket is what a lot of old school people will say. And that's just the way that I approach it in my way in reaching towards my success, is that I'm tapping in every single avenue that I can. Of course, motivational speaking is a thing that I absolutely love. It's the thing that I feel like I'm best at, that I was gifted with and born to do. But that's not the only way that I'm going to try to make, $1 billion, is just by speaking. I'm going to work with, colleges if I have to. I'm going to sell merchandise if I have to. I'm going to invest in stocks if I have to. And I'm going to explore all of these different avenues in hopes that one of them will lead to that ultimate success of becoming, putting me closer towards becoming a billionaire. But I'm not just talking about something that's going to be for right now. Again, I'm talking about maybe hopefully getting to $1 billion by the time I'm 60, and if not, then I'll aim for 65. You know what I'm saying? That if not, then I'll aim for 70. But, and if I just happen to only make $999 million, I'll have to live with that loss. You know what I'm saying?
A big win.
Right.
I got two points. Hopefully, I remember both of them. But the first, you were talking about, people who gamble or people who invest. They invest, and then they hit big, or they bet on stuff, and then they hit big. That kind of reminded me of when preparation meets opportunity, right? So you can be doing something for years, and it's either surviving off of it, getting by off of it, or you're just having fun until that one amazing moment you meet the right person, right? So you're over here doing your Why Wear Wednesdays for 14 years. You're doing free and maybe paid gigs out there in colleges, detention centers, doing all this stuff. One day you might literally be in the same gig in the same house as ET, right? Giving a speech to the same crowd. He sees what you're doing. He's like, "Hey, I like what you're doing. Come be a part of ETA." Woot, 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 boom. Now you're on to that level. Or people who were investing in Bitcoin, right? Back in 2012, back in 2010, people who were just like, you know what? I like technology. I like decentralized money. Let me go ahead and put some money in Bitcoin when it was $0.001. In 2018, those are now millionaires because the preparation that they put in all those years met the opportunity of the market or the opportunity of the time. So put in that work, right? And then when the opportunity arises, make sure you are ready to take advantage of that opportunity. Kind of like how us traveling to Tulsa, kind of that very same thing.
Absolutely.
Dang, there was another point off of what you were saying. What was it? I'm gonna forget it. Maybe it'll come back later. Queen, do you have anything on that while I search my files for this?
I was just gonna keep going. Of course, the health nerd. I always like to bring things to health. A holistic health mindset. And that's really why we started True Health Forever as a holistic health, company and education organization, because we realized that there's really no one aspect of health that is the end all be all, or that will have you feeling your best. Because at the end of the day, you can be quote unquote physically, you found it, quote unquote physically healthy, but if you are lonely, if you don't have meaningful relationships, you're not going to be happy, right? And you can be physically healthy, you can be mentally okay with your relationships, but if you're struggling financially, we know that is one of the the top stressors. And the other thing is, like, it's almost impossible. I won't say impossible. It's almost impossible to be the healthiest in any one area when you're slacking in the others, because they're all so connected, right? So the fact that you're struggling financially probably means that you have higher stress. Higher stress leads to higher cortisol. Higher cortisol levels lead to things physically, happening in your body, lead to rising blood pressure, lead to, increased heart rate, all of these things that will affect your physical health.
Right.
And if you're affected in your physical health, then you may not feel good mentally. Like, everything is connected. So I think that that's important too when you're talking about health. And I mean, obviously that can be brought to other industries and other aspects as well. But thinking about it in terms of health, like, sure, you can eat the cleanest diet ever, but if you're not practicing some type of meditation, some type of stress management, you're not going to be reaping as much benefit as you can be. Whereas I like you were saying, if you're really investing in all these different facets of your health, your stress management, your sleep, your nutrition, like, all of these things are so important, and they depend on each other to, really make you feel the best.
Right. And another great point is, we see rich people all the time unhappy.
Right.
They got tons of money, they got the success, they're famous, but they're just not living happily, whether it's trust issues, whether it's the social stuff. So that's one of the reasons why I love staying connected with folks that have billion-dollar dreams, that I know when we were both broke, right? I love staying connected with Josiah, Markel, Sam, Ryan, Javon, Daniel, the whole squad who all have big dreams, because when we make it to that billion-dollar dream, we can know, like, oh no, this circle, like, we've been connected to this circle from the jump. We can trust everyone here, and we're all happy. We're all social. Now, the concept that I wanted to say before I forget it again, you said something about doing all the things that you're passionate in, right? You're speaking, you have your fashion, you may go into music and beats, you have all these things. Something that I think people don't always think about is how those talents can actually compound and add to each other. Right. So yes, you're a gifted, you're a gifted, talented, motivational speaker, right? So people can consume your content either live, virtual, whatever it is. But something that some other motivational speakers also started doing is they make mixtapes, right? So now they put that motivation, they put that grind, they put that stuff over some hard beats, so I can be out running, I can be out working out, still getting motivated, and that's an extra form of revenue. So you can combine music and your speaking. The fashion, right? You put your motivational quotes, motivational images, all that stuff onto your t-shirt. So I think as you're in all these lanes, don't always keep them 100% separate. Figure out, how can I bob and weave? How can I swerve kind of these things together to amplify the message or amplify my own brand of who I am?
I think belief does that really well. I think the belief in fatherhood, this little family YouTubers that we follow.
It's the babies that she stalks, and she's forced me to stalk them as well, Josiah.
I don't force nobody. You like them too. It's okay. They're anyways. But it's this father who, and I actually learned a little bit more of his story this week. But he started out as a musician, but he found a passion for storytelling. So now he creates blogs of his and fatherhood, right? So now he also has 4 kids. So he's like, this is my life. And so I think he has done a really good job of storytelling. He basically tells the story of his family and, kind of what happens with them, lessons learned, and his journey through fatherhood in a story format and through vlogs on his YouTube channel. But now the music in every single video is his music.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then now they've also same thing.
It's somebody's birthday today. Oh my God! Oh my goodness! I could not go away.
Yeah, so fire. And then he's also started his own clothing brand. So I think that's another example of how you can kind of combine your talents to make this beautiful combination of all of your passions and talents that can really compound and bring you those returns.
Big facts. So if you are just joining us, we got Josiah Greer, motivational speaker, King FYB himself in the building, talking about investing in you. So I do want to turn it kind of back to you. If we can maybe give some folks some tangible steps, right? And these things that you've done or things that you suggest people do, whether it's conferences, books, podcasts to listen to, but what should be folks' first step in investing in themselves? What does step 1 look like in setting up your self-investment 401k for your own dreams? Like what is step 1 in that process for you?
I think step 1 is just to write them down, write down what your goals are. My boy DT, who's FYB member as well, he always says a goal without a plan is just a wish. So it starts by you start having a plan by writing down what the end result is supposed to be, what the goal is. So if the goal is to get to have your own podcast, okay, well then how do you plan on doing that? Do you want to you want to see if you can find a free microphone somewhere, or do you want to save up money to get a microphone? Does a microphone cost $100? Okay, well then how much do you make per month? Do you want to save towards that till you get that $100 to be able to pay for that microphone? So it starts with, I think, writing down what you want. What is it specifically, identifying what is your goal, and then also identifying why that's your goal. Because if your why isn't strong enough, then it doesn't matter what you write down. If you're saying, I want to, like for me, if I said, I want to make it to the NBA, right? It's, I don't really have a huge why. I just wanted to do it. I just want to do the NBA. You know what I'm saying? When it gets tough, which it inevitably will, that's inevitable. You will absolutely have a tough time accomplishing your goal, period. You know what I'm saying? And so when that happens, if your why is not strong enough, then you're going to say, oh, it's not worth it. I'm out. You know what I'm saying? And you're not willing to invest 14 years or 16 years into it because, in year 3, you're going to say, I ain't getting the results that I want, so I'm out. You know what I'm saying? It's not worth it. I'm gonna go do something else that I really enjoy. So I'd say start off by writing down, what it is that you want, and then, ask yourself, why is this so important to you. And then once you have that list of the reasons why, then your goal from that point forward is to every day make a step towards accomplishing that goal. And it can be a variety of different ways. Like you all said earlier, there's a lot of ways to accomplish a goal. I tell people there's a lot of different ways to get to LA. You can drive, you can fly, you can catch a lift, you can catch a cab, you can walk if you want to, whatever, what I'm saying? You can catch one of those, do one of those lime feeders, what I'm saying? Whatever. There's a bunch of different ways to get to LA, what I'm saying? And for me, if somebody says, a bus is the best way, I'm gonna say, nah, flying is a better way. Everybody's different, based on their preferences. But as long as you're making a step towards that goal, then it was a successful day. No matter how great or how small that step was, because you're moving forward and you're not wasting any days. But progress is progress, man.
Yep, love it. Step one, write it down. Right? Where are you going? Where is the destination? And I think the words that I used is, what is the venture of you? Right? We know what venture capital is. We know, like, when we're investing in businesses, I hope, look at their mission, look at their vision, see their products, and we kind of know what the future is for that company. So we're like, cool, I believe in it. Let me put my money in it. It should be the same thing for you. What is your mission? What is your venture? What is the future of who you're going to be? And then now you can invest the energy, the time, the people into making that a reality. Right? Step two, or maybe it was a slash 1.5, was the why. Now, $1 billion dreams. We got to ask, what is the why? What is the motivation for Josiah becoming a billionaire?
I think for me, it's really having that generational wealth for not only for myself, but for my futures down the line. But not only that, me being a kid from Richmond, California, I've always felt that there's certain things that I wanted to bring back to my hometown. Personally, I would love to have a sports team specifically located in Richmond, a professional sports team. I remember when there was a couple years ago, the lottery was at like $1 billion or something like that. I was playing. I was like, we about to move the Raiders win. But I think with the Oakland Raiders going to Las Vegas, and with the Warriors going to San Francisco, and then the A's talking about leaving, I've always wanted to take a team and build and bring a home team back to Richmond. So that was one of the main goals. Is just, there's a lot that I want to do, because $1 billion is, it's not just saying like I want to spend all this money or whatever, but it's really like I want to make investments in Richmond and turn Richmond into a place that a lot of people feel comfortable, safe, and happy coming to visit, and not necessarily wanting to go into abandoned homes and things like that. And I know one thing I know about the world, or at least America, is that gentrification is inevitable. And so like Jay-Z said a long time ago, he said gentrify our own neighborhood. So I would want to rebuild Richmond to and move people in that are from that area, what I'm saying, and not necessarily just moving a bunch of rich people in who don't care about the city, who didn't understand the city's history and legacy. I mean, Huey Newton was in Richmond, what I mean? Like, so understanding that legacy that we have in that city, and really supporting people, whether it be the high schools and the middle schools and the elementary schools that need to be renovated. They need a lot of work done because a lot of people haven't invested in it because of the state taxes or the city taxes and things like that. So it's really not a lot. When people hear a billionaire, they think, oh well, this man just he wants to be a jerk and wants to make a lot of money for himself. But it's not, because I want to put some money back into the community. I want, right now, I do a lot of different things. For instance, I give an annual scholarship every year for my church, for whoever's graduating from high school to go to spend, and I don't require that they go to college, because college may not be for everybody. I just require that you're graduating from high school. Some people are going to the military. Some people are going to college. Some people are saying, look, I just want to go into the workforce. But at the end of the day, here's some money to be able to start you off regardless of what your path is. So I would love to do that on a larger scale for like a whole bunch of, high school seniors across the, Contra Costa Unified School District, to be able to help pay for, give them a head start, even if it's just like, here's $1,000 for you to be able to, pay for 1,000 packs of ramen noodles when you go to college, whatever you do. What I mean? That's for you. So that's really where the billionaire mind, that's my why, is because I want to give it back to the community, being from the community.
Nice. The Greer graduates, huh? The Greer graduates. That's
Like
reminded me of the episode of The Office. Who Michael Scott had to.
Michael Scott,
You remember that episode?
Scott's Tots.
Yep.
Scott's
Oh, that was comedy. But no, love it. Josiah for mayor of Richmond someday.
Nice.
Pouring back into the community, rebuilding. And I think what we sometimes don't realize when you are able to really take the time to invest in yourself, when your cup overflows, it overflows into other people's cup. Right? Like that's not wasted energy, that's not wasted water. So the more that you pour into yourself, the more, whether it's resources, education, knowledge, self-love that you have for you, the more love you can give, the more resources, the more knowledge, the more resources you give to other people as well. So find your why. Love, thanks for sharing that one. Definitely, y'all, find your why so you can be motivated and pour into other folks' cups. Queens, looks like your eyebrows, you got something to say.
Do they?
Mm-hmm. No, I misread those eyebrows.
The one thing I did just want to touch on is
I knew it. See,
I really was good, but it was like, since you asked,
see,
that I feel like the perception, like you were talking about, like when you say like, oh, I want to make $1 billion, there's a lot of preconceived notions that people would have when you say that about why. And I think that is because historically, people with money haven't always been looking out for especially communities of color, underrepresented communities in general. But I think that is going to start to change. And I think that people like us with the $1 billion dreams are going to be part of what changed that, because we do have, plans for the money that is more than just, we want to live in a big old house and drive 15 cars and take a trip every other day. Like, that's not what we want to spend money on once we get it, right? We want to build a community. I won't get into too many of those details, but, we really want to build a community where other people can come and live. And, I think that things like that, when you have money and you have a good head on your shoulders and you have the right intentions, then you are a very powerful, positive force in the community that I think we all need. Right. So it's almost like I'm going to steal this shamelessly from E.T. We need you to be a millionaire. We need you to be a billionaire. Yeah, I really liked. I think I'm pretty sure it was him. But yeah, it's like if you have those dreams, like, you have to make that another one of your whys when you write it down. Like, this community, this world needs me to be a millionaire for the things that I'm going to accomplish when I have this money. So just, that's just, I feel like another why that everybody should have for those who have those good intentions of giving back with that money.
Yeah. One more thing, and I'll shift it back to see if Josiah got some more wisdom for us. But I feel like, as people who want to be motivators and as people that want to be role models for the community, fortunately or unfortunately, our folks value, and I think the world in general, they value material success. Right. So, I mean, I can come in, looking bummy and talk about Black Wall Street, talk about financial literacy, but the kids are gonna be like, yeah, I'm not listening to you. Like, what you wearing? What you talk about money? We don't look like money. So I think for a certain extent, you need to be able to present yourself as successful. You need to be able to present yourself and show a little bit of receipts to get some of that admiration and respect. For example, I think our generation is going to be a very, very powerful generation, like you said, because we grew up watching LeBron, who's financially successful. He's out here starting schools. He's donating, doing scholarships. We grew up watching a Jay-Z who's donating to communities. We grew up watching a Diddy who has his own schools, fashion, doing all this stuff. So we grew up watching Black people who can be successful, who can be swaggy, who can be cool, but they're also giving back to their community. So now for us growing up, that's the standard of what success truly looks like. Right. So it's up to our generation to kind of keep that going. Like, I mean, we don't have to be as flashy as a Diddy or a Jay-Z per se, but I still think we need to make being a good person, we need to make healthy, we need to make being a motivational speaker look cool, so that kids grow up thinking, I want to be cool, I want to be a motivational speaker like King Greer, right? I want to be cool, I want to be healthy like the queen over here. Brother Greer, Brother FYB, what's up? How you feel about that?
Yeah, no, I think that's that's key, man. Is that and part of that kind of frustrates me is that people have to be at their best just to even get people's attention. It's kind of frustrating, but I understand it. As a person who grew up, what I'm saying, in a certain area, I understand it, because at the end of the day, like you said, folks not gonna listen to you if you coming up bummy, but. Even though, I'd always, try to stay as fresh as I can be, what I'm saying, whenever I go do something, I do let people know that, what you can learn something from anybody, saying, I'll talk to anybody and have a conversation to be able to learn something. But then too, there's a lot, my homie used to work at a bank, and he used to tell me there's a lot of people that come in dressed bummy, literally, they look and smell like homeless people, but they got hundreds of thousands in their bank account. What I'm saying? So it's like, hey, don't think that because, what I'm saying, like, what's his name? Zuckerberg don't wear Nikes. Zuckerberg don't be super fly like that. Bill Gates don't have no, what I'm saying, no Gucci or Louis.
Like, millionaires drive Prius.
So and that was a huge wake up call for me when I went driving down like rich neighborhoods, and I would look at the kind of cars that they have, and I would say, like, wait, Toyota, Civic, like what's going on? Like, why am I not seeing Mercedes Benzes, and why am I not seeing Teslas and all this? But then when I go to the regular neighborhood, down the street from my crib, and they got all the fancy cars, and it's like, but you're in my neighborhood, what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So it's like the rich people drive the basic cars, and meanwhile the lower class people are trying to look rich, what I'm saying, by driving those expensive cars and stuff. So, we got to do a better job, as our own people, what I mean? And again, I'm a victim of this as well too, because I got grills, I got chains, what I'm saying? I got shoes. My shoe game is on another level, what I'm saying? But I am learning that all of those things that I've been buying, that stuff is depreciating. What I'm saying? It's not worth as much money. There are a couple of J's that I've been sitting on that I ain't wore yet that might be worth some money. But other than that, everything else that I purchased really has lost its value. And so it's like, we got to make sure that we teach our people growing up that, bro, money doesn't look a specific way. Like, you can, you can look like a bum on the streets and have millions of dollars, in your account. In fact, I got this book here that a girl got me here. Everyday Millionaires, Chris Hogan, right? And so in this, they interviewed 10,000 millionaires in America, and most of these people, don't buy, a bunch of dope shoes. They don't buy, expensive shoes. They don't take expensive trips like that until they become, millionaires, in which they usually do within their 40s and 50s, and then they go in and have, a good time. But when they get to that point, they don't even want to spend their money on that stuff, because they're like, what was the point? I've already lived this lifestyle, with a budget. I might as well just save my money for my children to be able to have, when they get older. So it's just, it's interesting, man. It's just, that was a good point that you made. That's all that to say. That was a great point. Hope that we can educate the young people and let them know, man, like, money doesn't look like anything. I mean, it's a bunch of people. Like, I don't know if you guys know who Rick Rubin is, but he's a huge producer. He's worked with Jay-Z, Kanye West, the Beatles, like a whole bunch of different artists. But this dude walks around with no shoes, he's a big white dude, huge beard, like down to his stomach. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you wouldn't think that this dude has produced millions of records, sold millions of records. You know what I mean? So it's just, money can look like whatever. You know what I mean? Money ain't got to be, a Benz, or, a Maserati or nothing like that. Like, money can be you. You are the money. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you wearing that day, you know what I'm saying? You got it. You got it.
You got it. Man, I think that comes down to confidence, self-love, self-worth, just knowing, like, the fact that you said you are the wealth, right? Regardless of how much money you have, you as the entity, as the structure, you are the wealth. So
it's not what you're wearing, it's not the shoes, it's literally you.
Right.
But we gonna rock our freshness until we get there. You feel me? we gonna represent, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and I went ahead and I didn't purchase it because I'm not supposed to purchase any books in the month of July, even though
here we go.
It's been difficult. But I did add Everyday Millionaire to the cart. So as soon as August 1st comes, I'm going and click buy on these 17 books. No, I'm just kidding.
Think and Grow Rich is another one I just started reading.
Oh yeah.
Who honestly, so look, I read I ain't mean to interrupt, but I read the first chapter probably like 10 times now. I haven't even gotten to the rest of the chapters because like with this book, man, that first chapter, there was so many different lessons that I was able to get from it. Like I just kept repeating that first chapter. So I'm gonna read the first chapter probably for a month and then go to the next chapter. But so far, like every time I read, it's like, there's a little lesson right there too. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to use that as a wise word Wednesday. That's another solid book that that I've been reading.
That was a pivotal one. I don't know. I feel like you've been reading. That was a pivotal one for me and my just personal growth journey. That I distinctly remember reading that book and like having a very distinct mind shift change after reading that book. And specifically, I don't know which one you're reading, but the Black Choice I think is a great one because it goes through. It does talk about specifically Black people. Coming from rough, the whole rags to riches stories.
Right.
That was a very powerful book. So if you haven't read that one, go check that out too.
Go get it. See, screensaver right there. You read.
Oh yeah. That's cool.
So real quick, random, but you said you drive through wealthy neighborhoods. So I didn't want to let that kind of go by without people knowing like what's the reasoning behind that, because I feel like there's intentionality and power behind seeing what the wealthy are doing. So do you mind just going through the mindset of why you possibly like drive through wealthy neighborhoods, see what the habits, what the behaviors are, or even other things that you do to help kind of cement the vision and possibly the future?
Yeah, I mean, for that specific time that I saw that day, I got invited to a friend's house who lived over there. But usually, what I will do at times is I'll just go and drive through, wealthy neighborhoods just to kind of see, get a taste of, what it's like, I need to, see myself in that environment. When you aspire to be something, you have to envision yourself there as well too. I remember when I was working as an undergraduate in college, my job every day was to change trash cans, was to empty trash cans and sweep, and clean up what was called the union. I would do all that and clean up bathrooms and things like that. That was my nighttime job. I worked from like 7 to midnight. But during the day, I wore a suit, because I wanted to dress for the job that I felt I was going to get in the future, not for the job that I had. So during the day, I'd be dressing, in a suit, and then at night in the trash cans, emptying trash cans and stuff for work. So it's the same thing. It's like right now, I drive an Eclipse, but I drive it through those rich neighborhoods to see, can I envision myself being in there? And if I am, then I need to see what it looks like. If I'm going to be there, I need to see, okay, how does, these people, okay, I see everybody got their lawns cut in a rich neighborhood. There ain't no messy lawns out there. Okay, I see everybody's got fresh paint. Okay, this is the older house. Okay, I see this has got some trees next to it. You know what I mean? Oh, during Christmas, they all put the lights up everywhere. It's like a community thing. Can I see myself doing that, when I'm older? And if the answer is no, then, maybe that kind of neighborhood isn't for me. Maybe I need to be in an isolated, kind of estate where it's like, it's just me and my house and a couple of acres and can't nobody else, be near me. It's just a part of how I operate. For me, I like to envision myself in that kind of environment to see, is this a place where I can see myself in? And if the answer is yes, then I need to be there to see what it's like.
Oh yeah, my man said I need a couple of acres, possibly.
You know what I'm saying?
I ain't trying to see nobody. I respect it.
That exposure is important.
Right, I was gonna say that. And do you want to take this point?
I'll start it and then I'll pass it on.
Alley-oop it. All right, cool.
Pass it on to you. But yeah, I think that the exposure is critical because you don't. And this is probably where you're going. So I apologize if I'm stealing it, but
it's all good, Queen.
You were talking about like your imagination you can only imagine what that is what you were gonna say, huh? You can only imagine what you've seen before.
That's how you know we be talking too much.
Right,
like,
right.
How you know my thoughts? What's going on here?
You can only physically imagine what you have seen before. So, and that I learned from the King. So I feel like we think like we can imagine really original things, but technically you're just mixing or, recalling things that you have seen before, whether you consciously remember it or not.
Right.
So I think that knowing that it's important to intentionally put yourself in the situations that you want to be in the future. Like you said, like if I know that I may possibly want to live in a wealthy neighborhood, then let me go see what it's like. Having friends that live in that neighborhood, that's great exposure. Yeah. We talk about, the Secrets to Success podcast, Jamal King, that talks about that was a very pivotal moment for him, is going to his friend's house who made it to the league, and was in whatever one of those big old mansions, and he went to his house, saw what he was able to do for these random females that he wasn't even like really dating seriously, and he was like, I can't do for my queen, my wife, what he is able to do for these random people. And yeah, just seeing like his house, that type of exposure, right. I feel like it changes you. It starts to see like, oh no, yeah, I want to live my version of this lifestyle. And I think that's why the exposure is important, and it's important to intentionally put yourself in those situations, even though it's going to be uncomfortable, right? Naturally, it's going to be uncomfortable because you're in a space that you are going to feel like you don't belong in, right? Because you're not there yet.
Gotcha.
Right? And hopefully, right, you're in the mindset of like, I'm going to get here, but it can, and maybe not for everybody, but I think if you're like, okay, I want to go drive through a wealthy neighborhood, if that's the first time you've ever really done that, it may feel a little bit uncomfortable, especially, I drive a 07 Honda Accord. Ain't nothing flashy about that, right? So if I was to drive in a neighborhood where there's a lot of flashy cars, like, okay, I might be like, okay, my little Honda or whatever. But I think it's still important to do, and important to put yourself in those situations, because that uncomfortability is what starts getting that. I think that's what starts getting those gears turning, and starts getting you thinking like, well, what can I do to get here? What can I do, and how can I? Yeah, I think just position myself so that the next time I come here, I feel like I belong, and I feel like, you know what, this is going to be me in a few years.
So I'm gonna try to say something smart, because the queen, just took those amazing, beautiful thoughts. That was great. I see you, queen. Try to say something smart. When liquid changes phases, right? You go from water to solid. What happens to the bottle? It expands, right? I see you. It expands. When you change phases in liquid, you expand to maybe no longer fit the previous container. I think as people, we're the same way.
That was off the dome right there. I like that. That was off the dome.
Right? That was good. I'm glad I took his thought. That made him come up with something different. You're welcome.
Yeah, it definitely did. I was thinking like, dang, okay, what can I say? So as you get exposed to new things, right? Whether it's new neighborhoods, you go to different countries, you speak different languages, you meet new people, you're constantly expanding who you are. You are going into a new phase of your life, and it can seem uncomfortable to go back to the normal, right? I feel like we've experienced that sometimes.
Ice don't like melting.
Right. Ice don't like melting. Ice want to stay ice. That's why we're having all the global warming situations right now, right? Because the ice capsules are melting, causing floods, and that's literally affecting the entire world. We are the ice capsules. Don't let yourself melt. Keep growing, keep freezing, stay fresh, all that stuff, so that you can keep laughing at your king. What's going on over here?
Huh? I'm just laughing at your metaphor. But let me tell you why your metaphor, I think, is even. I'm a nerd.
Are you?
If that wasn't obvious. Why I think that metaphor is even more powerful. So when you think in that metaphor, right, the ice is like kind of the end destination, right? That's what you want to go. And I don't really know what's after solid. But you would want to go from, or typically things go from gas to liquid to solid, right? When you think about a gas, that's how you would start off. It's very turbulent. It's all over the place, right? The gas particles, they can do whatever they want. They're kind of all over the place. And that's how you may start, right? You may feel like,
y'all going in.
Just trying all of these different things.
Y'all going
You may feel like I'm just trying all these things and I'm just trying to figure it out, right? Then you transition to the liquid phase. The molecules are a little bit more close together, right? They've got their thing together. Water, right? It's a little bit more in one direction, right? It can disperse a little bit, but it's a little bit more compact, right? But it can still, think about a river, it can still river rapids, it can still be very turbulent, right? Then you transition again to the solid phase. The solid those molecules are lined up.
Yep.
It's lined up.
Order. Yeah.
That's how you get the solid. Ice is solid, right? And it's very, it's just a much more solid structure that's harder to shake. It's harder to break. So I think that that's even a really good metaphor for that reason, that you really do like, okay, you may think like, all right, yeah, I'm kind of all over the place right now. All you got to do is keep grinding, keep going so that you can make that transition and you'll feel the difference. And then you keep grinding, now you're in the solid, and when you're there, you feel good. You're like, I'm here. I'm where I'm supposed to be. I'm solid, literally. I'm solid. Yeah. Oh, it's a t-shirt.
I'm using that as a Wise Word Wednesday, by the way. So
listen.
Whoa,
go for
it.
I see you. Okay. So we've gone a lot of different directions here. I'm gonna try to have you bring us back to investing in yourself. Right, some parting words for the folks. What are some steps they should take to invest in themselves, and any tools, advice, or resources you have as they either continue this journey or start the journey of self-investment?
I think it's just, again, realizing, kind of like we say with FYB, is that you're the most important person to you. There's nobody more important than you to you. If you don't look out for yourself as number one, then nobody else in the world will, because they're going to look out for themselves as number one. And just remember that investment is not just in the mental. Investment is not just in the physical. It's not just in the spiritual, but it's also in the monetary as well, too. You have to invest your funds in something that you really, really believe in. I mean, you all, when you started, Black Wall Street, the board game, it took money, that you had to put in to create this game. It took the time to say, okay, well, what game do we want to do? And regardless of how much time that y'all took trying to create it on your own, at some point, you had to put up some dollars. At some point, it was inevitable. Even if you said, okay, I came up with the design on the computer myself, I came up with the logo on the computer myself, I figured everything. At some point, you had to say, it's going to cost a little bit of money. And so that's where I'm saying invest in yourself. Don't just invest in yourself in labor. Don't just invest in yourself just in spirituality. Don't just invest in yourself in health, but also understand that the money that you make, it is very important to put back into yourself as well, too. It is, when you spend $1, it is an agreement that you believe in, or that you are partnering with another company or another entity. So if I say, hey, listen, I want to go to BJ's for lunch, it's a lot more than just saying, hey, I'm going to go to BJ's for lunch. What I'm saying is, hey, listen, BJ's has a really good burger, and I don't want this burger to go out of business. So I'm going to go there and I'm going to pay them money to make sure that they understand how important this burger is to me, that I'm willing to give up $14, you know what I'm saying? Which, some people only make $15 an hour. So I'm willing to give up an hour of my life that I never got back for $14 to exchange that money for a burger, because I really believe in these BJ's burgers. So when we think about money like that, then we understand, okay, you're not just spending your money, but you're investing financially in yourself in whatever you're doing. If you want to be a rapper, invest in your good quality beat, or invest in a quality studio, or invest in a good engineer. If you want to be a lawyer, you go to school, which is an investment, right, in yourself, that I'm going to get these credentials so that I can go into becoming a lawyer. So just understand that there's no way to be the best you without investing yourself in a variety of different ways. And the beautiful thing about life is that we're never finished. We're always trying to grow. I'm very blessed to be multi-talented. So, I'm blessed with the gift of speaking. I'm blessed with the gift of music. I'm in a variety of different things. I was athletic, so I was able to run track. And so we're so many different ways that we can kind of improve. If I'm not working on my music gift, then guess what? I'm working on my speaking gift. If I'm not working on my speaking gift, then guess what? I'm working on my physical gift. If I'm not working on my physical gift, then it's like I need to improve myself mentally. If I'm not working on my mental, you know what I'm saying? There's always a way that I can improve myself, and you can invest in a variety of different ways for that one way. If I want to improve my mental health, I can invest in it through time by meditating, or I can invest in it financially and say, hey, listen, let me purchase this meditation app, that's $60 for the year, which is $5 a month, but it's going to come in handy because it's going to help me mentally. So just understanding that you have to invest in yourself in order for you to be the best you that you can be. And there's no just one way. It's all types of ways, and we're always learning. And the day that you stop learning is the day that you die. So there's always ways to improve.
Yeah.
There it is. Give it up for Mr. FYB Josiah Greer on here. Make sure you like, subscribe, share this video if you found it useful and inspirational. We got to make a self-investment or a FYB, probably not FYB, self-investment song. Let me know. I can find the beat. I don't know if you make beats still or what.
I don't make beats, but I know people. All right.
Let's do it. Before we officially let you get out of here, can you let folks know projects you got going on, places they should follow you, anything that they can support? Let the folks know where they can find you and support you.
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram at _fire your boss, or the FYB page. Also at JoSpite _FYB on Instagram, and Twitter. A couple of things we got coming up. I mean, I've been doing, every other week I do a mentorship with a program in the Bay Area for people who are from Alameda County. It's called Brother for Brother. So I mentor them every Monday evening. So I do that all the time. Also, if anybody needs some motivational speaking, feel free to let me know. I know the world's opening back up. But we want to be safe, but I'm definitely open for that. We are actually starting back the Ivy League podcast.
Hey, here we go.
We are bringing that back. And we're actually starting our YouTube channel. So the Wise Word Wednesday YouTube channel has started. We did record the podcast episode last week, and because we're going to YouTube, we're going to have it available on YouTube as well too. So feel free to like and subscribe. You just type in Wise Word Wednesdays on YouTube. Our YouTube channel will pop up. Right now, there's only 2 Wise Word Wednesdays, but I promise there will be more uploaded, as well as the Ivy League podcast. So we're just doing the best that we can to be the best me. For me, I try to always listen to positive things. So I appreciate y'all giving me the opportunity to be on the platform. What y'all are doing. I mean, I know that obviously people only see the visual side of it. You know what I'm saying? But honestly, y'all putting in work, man. Y'all are putting in work and behind the scenes that people don't see. It's not easy. As a person who has a podcast, I'm gonna tell you, it is not easy to record every single week. I be stressing off just the Wise Word Wednesday, which is only like 2 minutes. You know what I'm saying? I can only imagine how y'all be stressing, but at the end of the day, y'all still continue to keep going and make it happen. And believe me, this is just the beginning, man. Y'all literally just get, how the plane is just starting to take off when they speed up. Yep. That's where y'all at, man. Y'all just literally just taking off, and y'all haven't even started to elevate yet. But it's getting there, man. Once y'all start to that incline, it's over. You know what I mean? It's taking over the game. So I just appreciate y'all for allowing me to use your platform to speak to people, and it's much love.
Oh, yes, sir.
Appreciate you.
Always. And listen, it's way less stressful when we have fire guests come on. So anytime, my brother, you want to come on, you hit us up, we'll hit you up. I feel like the vibes and the connection on what both of our brands are doing and what our actions are doing out there are very parallel. So again, would love to have you come on anytime. Just keep vibing and keep teaching, man.
Off tops.
Cool. All right. Well, we appreciate you. We're going to go into just a very quick updates of the week. If you want to share any updates you got as well, feel free. If you got to get out of here, no hard feelings. I'm not going to hold you captive, but we're going to do a short little, how our week's been. Cool. All right. Queen.
I'm ready for this trip.
Yeah. Point blank period.
Point blank period. The rest of the week is irrelevant. But yeah, it's been a busy week. Just I feel like we've been doing a lot of prep for the trip. Just being off of work, we're going to be working on vacation, but I think just trying to get as many things done, as many things lined up so that when we are able to enjoy the trip next week, without having too much going on. But I know I'm gonna let you give that update. But yeah, I'm very excited for this trip. We've said trip multiple times. I don't know if we've actually explained what's happening, but the king has planned a trip. I am normally the planner. I have planned every trip that we've ever been on. The king has planned a trip for us. And I don't even know where we're going. I will find out tomorrow when we get to the airport. So excited for that. It's been a couple months in the planning. I've been very, very proud of the king for all of the detail orientedness that he has had to to do for this trip. And I'm excited. I'm just ready for that.
So listen, y'all, I'm never planning a trip again. This stuff, I feel like you don't appreciate what people do for you until you have to do it for them, right? And I had like a small preview of this, like when I was cooking for the queen, and I was like trying to cook multiple things, right? I was sweating in the kitchen trying to make a really good meal. I was like, damn, I'm burning something. What's happening? I'm just like, God, this is so stressful. How do you cook these amazing meals all the time? The trip is a whole nother level, especially during COVID, because there's so many different regulations you got to check in. There's a whole bunch of logistics, and the queen always does the travel. I always say, thank you. And I always show up, have fun, but truly, thank you for all of the amazing trips, the honeymoons, the Thailand, Italy, all those things that you've been doing. I appreciate you. And thank you for continuing to plan these trips after this mystery trip. I appreciate you.
I got you.
I think the update that you were about to do was MBE.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we mentioned MBE, Minority Business Enterprise. Josiah, definitely something for you to check into. But we mentioned this a while ago on the podcast because it's been like a year in the making. So if you want to get like government contracts, right? If you want to get state level contracts, federal level government contracts, it helps to be a certified minority business enterprise. That way, when you get into these databases, they can search for, Black-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, veteran-owned businesses, disability-owned businesses. And the government literally has 23% of its budget. And the government, I don't know the exact, but it's in the trillions, has 23% of this trillion set aside just for small businesses. So if you're able to get MBE certified, which takes a lot of paperwork. Again, shout out to the queen for being detail oriented, because I was struggling, but it takes a lot of paperwork, a lot of details, some meetings, orientations, but we're hoping it's going to be worth it for us to be able to take Playback Wall Street and True Health Forever to the next level, as well as kind of get some of those bigger contracts. So we officially got certified on Thursday or Wednesday or something like that. On Tuesday. So yeah, we have to do a little bit more work to actually get some of those contracts. But in my opinion, the hard part, right, getting through the door is done. So shout out to that.
And that's it. Sorry, real quick, just to bring that back to the podcast, the investment of time and energy that has gone into that, right? The whole point of that is because we feel confident that we're going to reap the benefits later on. So that's just another example of like, it was not fun. Yes, I am the detail-oriented person, but that doesn't mean it's always fun for me. Doing, the balance sheet, the income statement, all these things that need to be, tip-top. Was stressful, but we got it done, and we are, excited to reap the benefits, later on. That the work is not done.
No,
but just another example of like investing in yourself and how it can hopefully pay off for us.
Big facts. So yeah, my mom's calling me now. She has our anniversary present downstairs.
Oh.
She wants to give it to us before we leave. It's like, oh, my mama. You can't click ignore on your mama, no matter what you're doing, right? So. Appreciate y'all as usual for tuning in. Brother Greer, anything you want to update folks on before we officially peace out?
Just enjoy life, man. Love it, enjoy it, and let's keep getting it, man, because there's money out there to be made. There's opportunities out there to grow, so take advantage of it.
Big facts, Big facts. All right, well, we appreciate y'all as usual for tuning in to the True Health Forever podcast, where we shall live our best life through the lens of holistic health. I'm your host, Devon Travell, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game.
I'm Sinclair, aka
the Health Nerd. We hope y'all stay healthy. We hope y'all stay mentally wealthy. And of course, we hope y'all stay true.